And we're live. Welcome back, everybody. This is a Pardon My Jerk podcast. It's me, Kyle. I'm here with Roby and Dunc at the Chateau du Hamlet. We got a whole bunch of stuff on the table we're going to talk about today. So what's going on, guys?
What's up?
What's happening?
Dunc, you missed
I was like thinking of it, but I couldn't remember what I was supposed to say.
You missed the setup once again, dude. We got to get this right for you.
I need to practice. This is the hardest part of the entire podcast, is the intro. I feel too much pressure.
You're not the host.
Yeah.
It's incredibly nerve-wracking.
I'm still kind of finding my rhythm on how I want to introduce this podcast. And I know I have better. I just haven't found it yet.
Dude, the worst part of the podcast for me is just saying what's up. It's like butterflies, you know? Gotta get the nerves out.
I'm so scared. So nervous.
Don't be afraid to go off script, boys. It's like jazz. It's like jazz. We're just gonna find the rhythm.
I'm not an on the
emails
spot
the
guy.
script out.
You're not getting those?
No, I haven't gotten you emailing it to the right email.
That explains a lot about your analysis. So I'll we'll check your email later.
Could just be I'm just a bad analyst. That's really what it is. Just bad at this.
Roby's just here for the badass backgrounds.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm just here for the Mortal Kombat chat.
That's that's a little bit of YouTube exclusive content for you guys out there that are currently missing Roby's background. His background game is strong.
Get over here.
Gentlemen, we are 30 days away from real in-person CrossFit competition and our first sort of new content to discuss since 2019, kind of, really 2018.
But who's counting, right?
Right, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's stoked, man. I mean, hopefully, I know Castro kind of said fans are going to be there, and hopefully he sticks to his guns and there's fans there, because the 2020 games were definitely missing that part of the games. We're missing the fan engagement, missing that crowd aspect. So,
dude, even games aside, the way this season is set up now, especially with the where they're organizing semifinals, like part of me is almost more excited for semis, because we're going to get that regionals type of atmosphere again, where people are like absolutely killing themselves for points, because it's like, if you don't get in, you're done.
Yeah, what I mean, like, if you don't get in, you're done. But like, if you get enough points, you might get the last chance qualifier.
Right.
So like, you still have something to go for.
Right. So the level of competition we're going to see there, I'm so excited for. Plus, they made the change that the programming is going to vary from competition to competition. Dude, I'm so excited.
I'm excited too, man. I'm ready for the fans to be back too. Just the UFC fight night this past weekend made me realize how much I actually miss fans.
Yeah.
You see, what's his name break his leg,
dude?
Oh my god,
that was bad.
Like his toe, like wrapped around the other guy's shin. Oh my god, it's terrible. Ugh.
Yeah, I saw a clip of that and I just went right past it.
No, thank you.
So for any of you guys out there that are listening, our next Run It Back podcast is going to be on the 2015 games. So if any of you guys are listening and you want to be ready and prepared for the next Run It Back podcast, you can start prepping now. But my wife and I are sitting in bed last night, and we're watching 2015 games events. And I'm like, Britt, we haven't had this since 2018. Like when Britt and I got back from our honeymoon. Like a real games environment, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2015 games were awesome, man. Like there's just something special about those games. I think that once we go back or we all rewatch them and kind of relive that, I mean, we're just going to kind of relive the glory days of CrossFit competitions. Like they were the best.
I think that's when CrossFit really kind of took off in like the public eye, 2015. Yeah. So,
well, you guys are entitled to your opinion.
I know how you feel about it. You're not as high on it as we are.
I don't think they were as great as you guys do, although they were good games. I'm not going to say they were bad games. I think just a lot of the shine has gotten rubbed off for me because I've just experienced those games so many times. You know what I mean? Like, I've watched the doc so many times. Like, I watched those games events. I've probably watched them 3 or 4 times now. I mean, I did watch them live, you know, so I'm just ready to talk about different games. But I will show up to that podcast, ready to put out some choice content for the fans.
Hot takes.
With a positive attitude.
So in other news, we just wrapped up team quarterfinals. So any observations on that one for you guys?
I've got 2 observations.
Please.
I wish they kept the super teams.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to say that.
Mayhem Freedom is just going to walk away with the whole thing.
Oh my God.
Number 2 take. I really
Oh, shit.
love the creativity with the quarterfinal workouts and the change up from the individuals, you know? Some sarcasm.
Picking up a
there.
hint of sarcasm,
I was gonna say.
think.
Yeah, a little bit of sarcasm. That
Some
was
glaring sarcasm.
Well, they could have changed those up just a little bit more.
I was a little peeved at that. I was like, cool. We're gonna watch the same thing, but just relay style.
They didn't change it up at all. Like,
So I was like, okay, well, here we go.
so
Devil's advocate on that. If it's an appropriate test for the individuals, and we want to make sure we're testing, like, we want to make sure we're getting the real deal athletes on the team side of things too, right? Especially since we're not doing the super team thing anymore. So let's make sure we filter out the scrubs, right? Well, maybe it is an appropriate test. It's not entertaining. It's not fun, but it is probably it could be a more valid version of the test. We are going to test you as individuals, basically, is what they did.
But that's not what they do at the games. It's a team.
No, but it is what they do in the open.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't do team workouts in the open.
But this wasn't the open. Like, this is the quarterfinals.
Yeah, this is the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
You just made them redo open workouts.
Right.
Just relay style.
It was kind of like a mix between the two. It was boring, but I didn't mind it. I thought it was a good test.
I just don't like let's just scrap the team portion and we're just going to do, like I said, relay style work. It's nice because you can find out, like, you can't really hide any of your teammates in that regard. That's a fine thing, but I don't know. I'm not. So they did at Wadapalooza 2 years ago. It was just like, all right, 4 individuals competing.
No, you're thinking Dubai. They did that at Dubai.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
And everybody was all pissed about it. But it's like you said, like, you're pissed because you couldn't hide.
Right.
Because if you're on Team Invictus and you have Sam Dancer and there's running, you're like, shit, Sam Dancer has to do this whole workout the same way as everyone else does, you know?
That's true.
Or, I mean, speaking of Wadapalooza, there was that issue with Kristen Miller for Independence where she couldn't climb the rope. Wadapalooza a couple years ago.
Wow.
Where it was just like, well, there's nowhere to hide. Like, this team member has to do 4 rope climbs. She can't do them.
Yeah.
So
it was but
that is a good point. Yeah.
Going back, I had this written down as a podcast topic actually, and we just haven't gotten into it yet. But the whole super team versus affiliate cup thing, and the quarterfinals do appear to be a little bit of validation that it's like, super teams were kind of better.
It's just a problem because, like, Mayhem still has a super team. Froning just has a compound that he can move everybody onto, and they could train there for the year.
Right.
It's like they are still a super team. Not now, just everybody else isn't.
Yeah.
They live at 123B Froning Way.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what? It would be nice if, like, I'm just kind of thinking about what's the better way to do this, right? Because this whole thing, like, Rosa and Castro keep talking about how, like, when we were doing the super team thing, affiliates were getting a little bit, like, kind of downtrodden and didn't want to get involved with it because they're like, well, I'm not going to compete at that level anyway, which I think is kind of bullshit. But because it's like, if you're looking at it like that, I'm got news for you weren't going to make it regardless. Right. You know, like, and like, I hope, like, I think the way to fix it is to compensate and incentivize the team portion of the games the same way we do the individuals, essentially, because it's kind of like what we were talking about in the last podcast, where it's like, then we can professionalize this sport, right? Froning dominates everybody because, like you said, he just moves everyone to the front end compound or whatever, that whole environment and culture they built there. Well, if there's more money on the line to professionalize this a little bit more, or we can brand these athletes and all that, like, then that offers that opportunity to other gyms besides Invictus and Mayhem.
Yeah. I'm just I'm fine with the super team idea, but like if you make it at one event, you have to go to the games with that team. It can't be like, oh, well, these 3 people went individual, so we're just going to pick another 3 people to do it for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did prior, right?
Well, just no, it's the way they're doing it now. Like them establishing that rule of January 1, your roster needs to be established and you get one alternate. Like, I like that. Like I'm into that rule. So it's like, I think it's another good way around the super team thing. Like, you need to decide. Yeah. And like, they just need to put a cutoff in there for like when you have to decide, before the open, before quarters, something like that, you know? Because things are a little ambiguous when you look at that list and you see Lauren Fisher and Andrea Neisler, and like, you're like, well, what are you doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now I will say, CrossFit Pro 1, they were good in all the workouts. They're not very strong. So like, they're a team that could probably stick with Mayhem, but I don't think anybody's beating Mayhem.
Yeah, there's zero chance.
Yeah, I think the games are Mayhem's to lose, basically.
But because I was going through all the competitive teams on that board, I was clicking on it and checking out the rosters, you know, and seeing if anybody's fielding anything that looks like a super team, you know, or something that can, you know, go rounds with Mayhem. And there was some teams I'm like, I recognize 1 or 2,
yeah,
but you know, that's about it, you know. So
whereas Mayhem, you recognize all 4 names.
Yeah, except for the Chase Hill guy. I don't think he's ever done much, but yeah.
Well, I think the Mayhem names are just more recognizable too, because Mayhem is more of a recognizable brand. Like,
yeah, but Taylor Williamson and Andrea Neisler are both fucking beasts.
And they had nothing to do with Mayhem before this year.
Yeah. They were on, what was it, OC3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
are they competing this year?
On
OC3?
Mayhem? Oh,
No,
OC3, no, OC3. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't see them.
Like I didn't see. I don't know if they were still because normally, I mean, they would normally shake things up in the team competition. They normally weren't something to
they beat them at Rogue. They beat Mayhem at the Rogue Invitational. But yeah, so back to the super team. Like, I think that was one thing that kind of was, I see what they were going for with switching things back to the Affiliate Cup. I think it was a swing and a miss on what they were trying to accomplish there, personally, because I think it was at the detriment of the sport being as entertaining. And I don't think it really did that much for the affiliates that want to participate more. Yeah. But because the team version, like the team games, are very entertaining, especially with the 2 male, 2 female format they adopted. And now it's just like, I don't know, maybe when Mayhem is like no longer involved, or that dynasty is over, like maybe then it'll be pretty entertaining. But now they've really kind of cemented that the good athletes go individual, the weaker athletes go team.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking it was going to swing the other way for a little bit, and then it completely went back to individual.
100%. 2019, like you said, it looked like that pendulum was kind of shifting. Like, oh, this might go like 50-50.
That's because all the people that were like did really well in the open just couldn't like cut it at like the semifinals or regionals. They're like, all right, we're just going to go team.
But like you also had a lot. You also had a lot of like big name people who were just like, well, I just want to be team this year. Like you had Alex Smith and Spiegel and all them. They were like, Camille, just be team. Camille, like just something fun to do. And it kind of seemed like the pendulum was swinging where it was going to be, oh shit, team is going to be where it's at now.
Yeah. So that's kind of disappointing to see that sort of walk away, you know. So I'll keep an eye on. I definitely will keep an eye on that. I would really, it's not going to be immensely entertaining, but I do want to watch team this year at the games.
It's hard though, because like they're so overshadowed. So it's like you can't even make time to watch. Like, do they even film those? Do they air those?
Yeah,
they normally do. Yeah. They're They're like weird time slots. Like the team events will be at like 8 a.m.
Gotcha.
Yeah. In 19, they aired team events. And the cool thing about the team stuff is like it offers like a different kind of creativity, like the big bobsled, the kit carry, obviously the worm, like the those big like those like cart things. You know what I'm talking about? Like they did it at Rogue, like, and I've seen it before. It's like not a sled, but it's like a heavy cart you have to push, and you can put sandbags on there. And I think that stuff is really, really entertaining as well.
I think team, like, just by itself is more entertaining than individual because you can do so much more.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, it's just, you can only do so many things with one person.
Right. It's like, I was thinking about that watching the games the other day, and I was like, at the end of the day, I'm watching this, and obviously I'm about as big of a CrossFit nerd as it's going to get, you know, but I'm like, when I'm watching most of these events, I don't particularly enjoy watching the event. I enjoy the theater of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I like the storylines, and like a lot of these events, it's like once you get past a certain point, your eyes kind of glaze over, and you're like, I just want to know who did what. Like it's like just skip to the end. I want to know who finished where on a lot of the stuff. Whereas
you want to watch if like Noah Olsen crashed and burned, or James Newberry went out so hot that he can't even move his legs, like that kind of stuff.
Right. And you're like, it's like, as it turns out, it's actually not that entertaining to watch people sit on a rower and do hang cleans. Whereas like it does feel like a lot of time with team, there's a little bit more of like a story within the story that can be a little bit more entertaining.
Story and a spectacle, because they can do a lot more stuff.
Dinner and a show, you know.
So
speaking of super teams.
So on to the prompt I sent you guys earlier this week. So this was it last week? I should have done more research on the actual soccer part of this. I'm not a huge football fan. Earlier this week, an international ruling body of in European soccer, some of the 12 most valuable teams in Europe sort of branched away from their league to start their own super valuable team. So I sent the prompt to you guys this week. If CrossFit was going to adopt the same sort of idea, right? So like I said, Jeff Bezos gets involved with CrossFit. He becomes a crazy huge fan, and he goes, I'm going to invest $1 billion into a CrossFit league, and each athlete gets a $10 million a year salary. So we get whoever we want, right? So this is the long-winded prompt of, if CrossFit was going to start a super league, we'll say 8 males, 8 females on each side. Who would you build that league with for the 8 most valuable and marketable males and females?
All right, I'll go with my men first. All right. So obviously Fraser and Froning, I'm sure every one of us has them. And I went Ben Smith.
All right.
Jason Khalipa.
Okay.
Josh Bridges. Chris Spieler, Noah Olsen, and Chandler Smith.
Oh, shout out for the Chris Spieler.
So seven out of eight are because of body of work. Chandler Smith, because I just think he's a cool guy to like put on camera. And
so you want to see basically like the Rogue Legends event, basically.
More just like a showcase type deal. It's like, if you're gonna, if I thought of it as like, all right, if somebody's gonna buy CrossFit and put it out in front of it for the entire world to see, who do I want to see on the floor, like marketing CrossFit? You know what I mean?
Sure. Absolutely. Either Chris Spieler would finish last place in every single event.
Yeah,
totally fine.
Not the fittest people in the world in 2021, but
right,
the ones that I thought would represent it the best.
Okay.
All right. Here are my men: Matthew Frazier, Justin Medeiros, Matt Chan, Noah Olsen, Pat Vellner, Chandler Smith, Easy Muhammad, Scott Panchik.
No, Easy Muhammad. You cannot put Easy Muhammad in this.
What the hell is he doing?
He's the man.
What the?
I told you guys I had a Lone Ranger in there.
I need to know why you put him there, though. Like, what is your reason?
Dude, the guy's awesome. He's a great personality.
Kyle's awesome,
super
but I
nice,
wasn't gonna put
super
him on the
fit
list.
guy. Why not? Why not?
Uh,
He's great on camera. He's
Listen.
hilarious.
I'm just gonna put him like his,
nothing
his
you're
highlight,
saying is wrong, Roby. Nothing.
highlight
I
tape.
don't disagree with a word you're saying about him.
his highlight
Hey.
tape when we reel these athletes out. Just gonna be him flopping in the water on a paddleboard.
That's see, and he'll resonate with the viewers because they'll be like, "I'd be doing the same thing, bro."
Yeah.
So
I am curious though. I'm not even asking to be a dick. What was the impetus for of all the sort of legends athletes? Why did you go Chan?
after watching him on the Titan games,
Oh, good
Like,
call.
I was like,
about the Titan
good
games.
call.
after watching
dude.
him on the
Titan
Titan games,
I'll
I was like,
give you
I was
that.
like, Matt Chan would be because people after watching him on the Titan games were like, oh, I gotta check this CrossFit thing out because if this made this guy like this,
Right.
Yeah, that's a good call.
that was my thought process there.
He's like 39 and jacked and doing like super marathon bike rides and like cross country skiing and still a firefighter. That dude's a badass.
Say all while working full time as a firefighter.
Yeah, and going on like super hunts where he like kills a 800-pound elk and carries it back on his back.
Doesn't even gut it, just like picks it up. And maniac.
Yeah. No, that's a good call though. I totally forgot about the Titan Games thing, which is going to make mine look even better. So, so there's a couple that I'm surprised you guys didn't mention. So for my males, I went Fraser naturally, Froning naturally. Okay. I'm also on the Chandler Smith train. I think that guy's incredibly entertaining. I went Fikowski Vellner because guilty pleasure of mine is their little bromance together.
Yeah, man. If we can just get them on camera together all the time, they're wonderful.
Vellner
great TV.
Or Fikowski was on my original list, but I crossed him off.
Yeah, I just love how those two together are so goofy, and they have such an awesome. They're like Brady and Gronk of CrossFit. So then I had a couple of wild cards on here of guys aren't really current athletes that I think would market super well. I went Josh Bridges just because people just love that guy like so much. Ricky Garrard, which I'm surprised none of you guys thought of. If you want to make this league entertaining, you know. Yeah. And then my final, I was trying to think like we got to go totally like different. Like again, we want this to make money, right? So who is a freak show athlete that is not involved in CrossFit that could also like kind of use the money right now? And Adrian Peterson.
I was wondering if you were going to go in another league.
Yes, of course I was. I was trying to think like, you know, LeBron. LeBron don't have time for that. $10 million. That's like his like Dogecoin stock. That's
his Tuesday, man.
Yeah, it's pointless for him.
Big. So I'm saying Adrian Peterson is all of 6 feet tall, 5'10", something like that. Still could compete in CrossFit. He's out of the NFL at this point, so he'll want that money, and probably the biggest physical freak show I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh man, now you got me thinking.
I told you guys, have fun with it, and you have access to anybody.
Could be a completely different podcast. Would be what NFL players would do well in CrossFit.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
it'd be a total different segment.
We could have made this entire list could have just been athletes in other sports. To be honest with you. You know,
if I'm going one NFL player right now, I'm going Tyreek Hill.
Oh yeah, that's another great one, of course.
Yeah,
respect. Yeah, I get the sensation Tyreek Hill would be a better weightlifter. Like I feel like he would just move better.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what you got one, Roby?
Roby's got to throw out an NFL name.
Yeah. God. Or just another sport at least.
Putting you on the spot.
Another sport. I don't know. I could see Manny Machado being somewhat decent at CrossFit.
Machado.
I could see him being somewhat decent at it. Dude's a good athlete.
He doesn't have the knees for it, man.
I'm also on the spot right now, so I can't think about it right now.
All right. So let's go to our women. This was a little harder for me.
Christian McCaffrey. He'd be good at CrossFit too.
He was originally on my list. I took him off.
He would be good at CrossFit.
In favor of Peterson.
I was trying to think of what his name was, but I couldn't remember it.
He got the bag, though. He doesn't need this.
All right.
Doesn't matter.
I'll go my women first.
All right, who you want?
Thor's daughter, David's daughter, Sigmund's daughter. Right off the bat,
Okay.
all the Iceland chicks. Toomey, Briggs, Camille.
Mm.
And I went with Car Saunders.
Mm-hmm.
My last one, Brooke Ends.
Ah, you took mine. You took mine, dude. I thought I was gonna go totally off the reservation with that one.
I wrote that down like 4 minutes ago.
I just thought of a new one.
She easily the most entertaining and easily the worst athlete on that list.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
She's got the mouth for it.
Yeah.
Every sport needs a villain. I had Tia Toomey, Brooke Wells, Car Saunders, Haley Adams. I'm gonna throw this one. I literally just thought of this one. I think you put the Williams sisters in here.
God damn, dude. That's awesome.
Like,
I had that one too.
Freaks. You put the Williams sisters in here, so there's two. Emma Carey and Danny Spiegel.
Nice. Yeah, the women were harder because
extremely hard.
It's like CrossFit's a really cool sport in the sense that women, I think, are kind of put on that same level as men in terms of the way they're marketed, the way they're branded. Like they're paid exactly the same. The viewership is probably, I would imagine, is exactly the same. If anything, women have a higher participation in like the open. No, men usually, didn't we just talk about that on the podcast? Men usually have a higher participation in the open than women do.
I think so, yeah.
But I would say there's
Not
probably
by much,
more
though.
females that do CrossFit than males, I would imagine. So, but anyway, so I digress. I went Sigmund's daughter, David's daughter, because they're so easily marketable. Tia, of course. Haley Adams, she was kind of I guess I'll throw her in there.
I'm very surprised you put her on the list.
Yeah,
well,
me too.
I actually liked your Camille pick. I that was a good one. I thought about Valenzuela just because she's probably my all-time favorite because she's such a savage. Then I went Brooke Wells.
Shouts.
People love her. Brooke Entz, same deal, entrepreneur. She's kind of like transcended CrossFit at this point, and I'm not a big fan of her at all, but she can be an entertaining watch for a lot of people,
Yeah.
Dunc, did you guys both say Danny Spiegel?
I didn't say Danny Spiegel.
You said
Danny
Danny
Spiegel.
I said Spiegel because like your Titan Games thing definitely hit home too. So she's got like almost 1 million followers. She's obviously a beautiful woman. And she's good too. She's not a scrub,
she's
good.
She's legit.
And then my total wild card one I threw in here that I would want to see is Gabby Douglas.
Oh shit.
The gymnast.
Yeah.
Yes.
You could put any of them in, man. Any of those US gymnasts, man.
But might as well just put the best one ever in.
Yeah, right. I had like a little, I had Maddie Rogers down because she has like a CrossFit background, kind of.
Yeah.
I had her down.
You could go.
That's it.
Steffi Cohen. I mentioned her before.
Oh yeah, that is a good one.
Good one to put on there.
That is a good one. Oh yeah, that would have been a good call. Though Maddie Rogers, though, she's a weightlifter, but I'm not completely certain she would like walk away with the weightlifting events.
Yeah, she would.
Yeah,
isn't her clean in the 300s?
Did you just see her at Pan Am's?
Is she clean in the 300s?
I think so.
She just cleaned 309 at Pan Am's.
Did she get it overhead?
Yeah.
I stopped following Maddie Rogers on Instagram, so
she's a very boring follow.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the weightlifters sound like great follows on Instagram, and then you follow like her, or like Catherine Nye, or you're like, every video is just you doing snatches and clean and jerks. Like
it's you got to appreciate it though, because it's like she's just putting up the weightlifting. She's not doing anything else to like endorse her page. Like she could do all the shoots or whatever she wanted to.
Yeah.
But
right,
weightlifting video. It's
just her personal stuff too. Like she's just putting up stuff she's doing with her fiance, and like I think that's cool for someone who has probably 100,000 followers or whatever, to just be like, nah, I'm not gonna sit here and cater and pretend that I'm a celebrity. Like I just lift weights and hang out with my fiance and my cats.
My point though is, so you said she hit 309. I'm off the top of my head, I am almost certain there are women clean and jerking 300 pounds. Like off the top of my head, Colleen Foch, if she's not at 300, she's close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This isn't a criticism to your call. I'm just talking about like just in general. I'm not being critical at all of that
no.
at all. I'm just saying, like, I think if you actually put her into CrossFit, like she's not going to be hitting 309.
Her advantages over the field aren't as big as you think that they should be.
That's my point I'm making is like, okay, now that you have to start doing like row interval repeats and you have to do Murph and you have to learn how to do like walk on, or she's actually amazing at walking on her hands, but you said
she's a freak.
All of a sudden that, and your clean and jerk isn't in the controlled environment of a weightlifting meet. Like I don't see her, like she would definitely take a step back as far as the weightlifting stuff goes.
No.
If she decided to make that transition.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm pretty sure Fraser did. Fraser was training the OTC. Do you think he was hitting the same lifts in CrossFit as he was when he was a full-time weightlifter?
No, absolutely
not. So. But Fraser's also different though, because like he stopped doing Olympic weightlifting at like, I guess not really, because he
went through college.
Like, yeah, I take that back.
It is an interesting thought though, to even like there's tons of weightlifters out there that it's like you'd be a really interesting individual to watch switch to the CrossFit world. You know, the interesting thing with Maddie Rogers is she seems to be a little bit taller and she's definitely pretty lean, so she would probably translate decently well.
Dude, you could take half of the NFL and convert them, and they'd probably you'd find 100 people that could beat some of these guys.
I'm pretty sure Maddie Rogers did do CrossFit for a short time.
She did. Yeah, she did.
Yeah. So did Steffi Cohen. So I think they all started out kind of there.
Yeah, she's kind of like a Jess Franklin too. Like she started in CrossFit and then was like, I just like lifting weights. I'm gonna be an Olympic weightlifter now.
Yeah, that's kind of the beautiful thing about what CrossFit has done that nobody gives them credit for is, hey, weightlifters, just so you know, the only reason you're getting paid to like coach weightlifting or the reason people are even watching your meets, you can thank CrossFit. And I'll argue with any weightlifter about that.
Oh, it's true. I never watched a weightlifting clip until I started doing CrossFit.
I mean, if the Olympics were on and I just happened to be on that channel that had weightlifting, I would be like, oh, that's pretty neat.
You know, I will say this,
but I never sought it out.
Dude, I love watching Lasha do his fucking Olympic lifts.
Jesus.
Guy, man. You know who we're talking about? Lasha? I don't even know his fucking last name.
No, I don't know.
You'd recognize this on the Duke and clean like almost 600 pounds.
He snatches like, I think he just hit like 441.
Yeah.
His total is
big guy. Looks like he weighs about 400 plus pounds.
Yeah. His total is almost 500 kg.
Like the only guy I've ever seen that bends a bar when he snatches.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a monster, dude. And he's just so flexible.
His max lift looks exactly the same as his warm-up lift.
Well, apparently there's been talks that they're going to take weightlifting out of the Olympics. Have you heard this?
I heard it with wrestling, but I didn't hear about it with weightlifting.
Yeah, I heard wrestling too, which is crazy.
That was when the Olympics were like founded, was wrestling, right?
That was years ago.
I can't even understand the justification for it.
That was years ago that I heard that. This was like early 2010s, I think, that I started to hear.
No. I heard that's like a done deal. Like wrestling's
that's when I heard about it like 2012 when they were like started talking about it. Because I remember hearing about this when Chance Marsteller was like the hot topic in wrestling. So and he was like, I'm going to the games in whatever year it was. So,
I've heard about them removing weightlifting from the Olympics, and it's like,
to make room for what?
They got some weird ass events that they
like interpretive dance is an event now.
No one cares about.
Yeah,
ping pong.
This is an hour-long conversation by itself.
Yeah, right. But like with weightlifting, it's like there has to be some sort of a strength sport in the Olympics, in my opinion. Like, there should be some kind of a strength sport. So, okay, if you take the snatch and clean and jerk out, okay, to a degree, I kind of get it. It's like a lot of athletes go for a sport that is very, very boring to watch.
And you know who's going to win before like you watch it.
Right.
Yeah.
So like to a degree, I get it, but I just like, they should at least put powerlifting or strongman or CrossFit or something in there, you know?
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah. You got to have a true like strength sport in there.
Just put Mortal Kombat in there, dude.
I mean,
Just
they have
fights.
combat sports.
Fights to the death.
Did I detect a segue there?
I was trying, man.
Smooth.
I'm just stoked to talk about the movie.
Yeah. All right, Roby. Well, then you go first. You give us your rundown of Mortal Kombat.
I loved every minute of it. I thought it was amazing. I loved the little tips of the hat, the little nods to the, because I mean, I played most of the Mortal Kombat games growing up and have played some of the recent ones. So just the fun little like nods that they did to the fans of the game. This movie was not made for the general public. It was not made for like winning Oscars. It was made for fans of the game to just sit back and enjoy it. It's what, like 105 minutes of just like pure fun. There's no bullshit to it. There's no fluff to it. It's just fun as hell.
That movie is 2 hours long.
Oh, it's a 2 hour. Well, see, I didn't even think it was 2 hours. So there you go.
Yeah.
Like that's because like that movie could have been 4. It could have been as long as the Snyder Cut. And I'd have been like, this is amazing.
The movie should have been as long as the Snyder Cut.
They should release the Snyder Cut of Mortal Kombat
right,
and then get rid of the Snyder Cut.
All right. So the fight scenes were great, even though I thought they were all too short. Other than that, the movie was kind of garbage.
What?
Wow.
There was no plot. No plot.
Right.
There was no plot. There was no plot. Like what? The movie's called Mortal Kombat, but we just got the outer world sneaking into places and just assassinating people. There's no Mortal Kombat. There's no tournament.
It's called setting up for a sequel, Dunc.
There's no tournament. Dude. So I got to watch a 2 hour prequel.
No. Yeah, dude.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
awesome.
No plot. Acting was hot garbage. Like Liu Kang. Where did they find Liu Kang, man? Where did they hire him from?
Okay,
I could have done that one.
I will cede to you. Liu Kang did suck.
Liu Kang could have been, and Liu Kang's like supposed to be one of the main characters. I thought that the original Mortal Kombat was better.
Wait, what did you just say?
I thought the original Mortal Kombat was better.
The like from 1995.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm booting you from this Zoom call.
Kick him.
That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
I thought
Skip Bayless.
Goro was supposed to be this badass, and he was in the movie for like 4 minutes.
Because they introduced so many other different bosses from other games. Goro's just a boss in the game.
Yeah, he needed more.
They could have had Maluch.
Like he had.
You don't like the movie because there wasn't enough Goro in it?
No, that's just one of the reasons. That's just one of the reasons.
Dude, you're out of your mind.
Dude, this movie was awesome.
Dude,
I thought the costume design was sick. Like special effects were awesome. The guy that played Kano is going to get snubbed at the Oscars for Best Supporting Actor.
He was
like
top.
Yeah, dude. Kano was like Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam. He just stole the movie.
Yeah, like he had like 8 minutes of screen time and crushed it.
He had 8 minutes of screen time and he knew it. So like he was going for it.
That's fine, dude.
No,
I'm with it.
Shout out to Bill Simmons. He got the Deion Waiters Award.
Yeah, shout out to the rewatchables.
Don't plug that podcast on our podcast. We can't have people going to that podcast.
Well, it's fine because we release ours on different days. It's fine.
Just move on. Just keep moving.
I was listening to something yesterday, and I thought it was funny. The best backstory of the whole movie, the most backstory we got was about Scorpion's little garden tool that he uses as a knife.
Yeah.
I'm for that.
Like, we had no characters. None of them had any backstories. It was.
No, I'm sorry. Did you want an origin movie of the characters from Mortal Kombat? I'm so glad they didn't waste my time with that.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't like the Snyder Cut, because I didn't care about the origin story.
So you just don't like
Well, that too.
You don't like in-depth movies that like give some sort of background.
But they set up for the sequel now. Like now we got to go get Johnny Cage. Like now we got to go to Hollywood.
And my God, if they get the Miz, I'm not watching it.
That'd be amazing. So
I could see them getting the guy that played Thad Castle.
I get 2 celebrity doppelgangers from people semi-regularly, and one of them is the Miz. I get semi-regularly people tell me like, anyone ever told you look like the Miz? And then I don't talk to that person anymore. But I would enjoy him as Johnny Cage. But no, that movie, I as soon as I saw it, I was just like, no notes, dude. Like I enjoyed I couldn't stop watching. It was just so, they never slowed down, first of all. I totally disagree. I think there was a semblance of a script to follow. And I'm all about the fact that they just like OP'd Sub-Zero. And like they made the movie like a big part of the movie, like the Sub-Zero versus Scorpion like plot line. Like they did give you the background on like why Sub-Zero and Scorpion hate each other, and their fight at the end did not disappoint. It was amazing. And I was like worried that they were like gonna turn Scorpion like into like a good guy. And it was like, no, he's still a bad guy. He just hates Sub-Zero more than other people.
Yeah, like he came up from hell just to finish what he started, and he's like, "See ya."
Yeah, back to hell.
Like I'll be back. I don't know, whenever.
Dude, that scene when Sub-Zero walks in and like the mist is coming behind him and he just kills a bunch of people with ice.
It was sick, dude.
Yeah. Gave me goosebumps.
I hope in the sequel
the fight scenes were great, man. It was just.
I hope in the sequel they have Cyber Sub-Zero. That'd be sick.
But like, didn't take itself too seriously, but still took itself kind of seriously. There was all the tips of the cap to the fans. Like I thought it was awesome.
Is Cole an actual character in the games?
That was the question I had. I don't think so, but what do you
know? He's not.
So yeah, this is what I would have said would have made the movie better. Get rid of that character altogether and just make the actor that played Cole, Liu Kang, and then I can get behind it. We don't have 40 minutes of Cole and his family just being there.
I buy that.
But I think the thought process might have been
a shorter movie too.
Like we introduce a new champion into it, like into the because that's kind of what you are in the game,
right?
Sometimes like you are the new guy coming in.
I get it.
Yeah.
So
and
it's like,
sort
it's
of
like we
injecting
introduce
some fresh blood into the franchise.
I didn't like how they set him up. It was just like it's like, oh, you are the great descendant of Scorpion. You're a bad fighter. You just happen to have a tattoo. You train, you quit, and then here comes Goro, and now you got your powers.
Well, yeah, because he had to unlock his
Ohana. He was just he's a quitter, man.
No, he just never had. He never had anything.
He trained for 5 minutes, bro. He trained for 5 minutes and quit.
Never had anything to fight for. He was defending his family.
I'm buying what Dunc is saying. I see what you're saying too, Roby. Like I don't disagree.
I don't buy anything Duncan says. It's full of shit.
I do think you're probably right. If you kind of take him out of the movie entirely and just make him Liu Kang, I think it's pretty awesome. I was kind of pissed. I don't know if it's like I don't know if it was like a nod to the games or not, but like when they killed Shang Lao, I was like, oh man, I liked him. He was cool. And he had that crazy fatality.
No, I mean he's still in the games, but yeah, that's like his big his like main fatality is the table saw.
Yeah, that was like, sweet.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I was all ready for that chick to come in and just like start messing people up, and then she just got sawed in half.
Dude, Nakira's pointless. She's like the most useless character. But it was a deep cut bringing her in though. Like I was like, oh. I was like, that's pretty impressive. And then they killed her off right away. And I was like, oh, okay, well that makes sense.
Well, I think it's pretty fair to say that general consensus, Mortal Kombat was amazing.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3 stars for the pardon my jerk stamp of approval.
I give it the stamp of approval on entertainment value, on as far as like a good movie goes.
That's what I'm saying. Sure. In terms of just pure entertainment, like the best movie like that I've seen in like years.
it was just
it just needed a little bit more meat.
well, the sequel might have some more meat.
I hope so. Maybe I'll enjoy it more.
If the
Might have
Miz
some more
comes
meat.
on, there's going to be plenty of meat.
I can't.
And with that, thank you for listening today, everybody. Please make sure you go follow our Instagram, follow our Facebook, check us out on YouTube, and we will see you guys very soon for our next conversation. Later.